This is an embarrassing thing to admit out loud, but I've recently found a great guilty pleasure that I've been consuming like junk food. It's those ridiculously cringe podcasts where a few dudes, pseudo intellectuals, bring on a bunch of women and have the worst debates of all time. It's a forsaken wasteland where normal thinking goes to die. A thunderdome of delusion. It is brain melting. It reminds me of those old PSAs for the dangers of smoking cigarettes, and they'll like open up someone's chest and be like, "This is what your lungs look like when you smoke," and it's like yellow and oozing, covered in this like disgusting slime, and it's very fucking yucky. This is like that, but instead of showing you your lungs on cigarettes, it's your brain when watching this content, and it's fucking revolting. Like, it is actual brain rot, and I can't look away.
And goes into a marriage and has kids when they're like 18, 19, 20. And then a year into the relationship, it gets really, really abusive.
From
Would
who?
you, from both?
This is so rare.
Anyone
So
really.
rare.
I mean, it happens.
Go on,
I'm just,
go on.
My point is, I'm
Hypothetically.
just, yeah, even though it might be rare from what you guys think.
It is.
I already just find this painful. She's asking a very simple question and setting it up, talking about abuse. And already the dudes here are like, this is ridiculous. This is exceptionally rare. This is damn near science fiction. Abuse? Never even heard of it. That's like winning the lottery twice level of astronomical odds. Abuse is, it is very uncommon, very rare. As a way of trying to like kind of shut it down already, like, you're choosing something very fringe and outlandish. Abuse is, it's like a unicorn. It almost doesn't exist. But anyway, crazy lady, go on with your hypothetical abuse thing, or whatever you called it. It's just trying to downplay it, which I think is just cringe.
If it would happen, what would you recommend for those people to do? Would they divorce, or do you want them to keep going in the relationship?
Keep going.
You can't divorce. I mean, that's not a real thing. You can like separate. See, his Catholic background shines through. He knows. You can't divorce. You can separate, but you can't actually divorce. That's not a real thing.
Even though it might be like physically abusive?
You got to endure. People are too.
You want to stick in the
People
relationship?
are just.
See, I mean, look,
people
I'm gonna be
nowadays
honest.
are just. Everybody quits. Everybody gives up. It's too hard. I'm this XYZ. This is why I'm special, so I can fuck up this entire situation based upon me being special.
The clown puts himself front and center here. You're looking at the chief entertainment for this episode. Fucking discount Walmart brand Sal from Impractical Jokers here. His name's Jonathan, and let me just tell you, he's got some opinions, and man, oh man, are they a stinker. So, the question is very simple. If there's an abusive relationship, an abusive marriage, should the marriage end? You know, if the woman is being abused, or even if the man is being abused. The woman who asked the question, her name is Melina, and she doesn't just make it exclusive to women getting abused. Men can also be victims of abuse, something that Jonathan heavily disagrees with. We'll get to that later on. But he is saying that, oh, if it's an abusive relationship, you have to endure. This is the problem with snowflake society now. Everyone's such a pussy, so they'll ruin a marriage because they think they're so special. You absolute fucking troglodyte. It's not about being special. It's about not getting beat the fuck up in a marriage. There's no excuse for abusing your spouse, whether it's physical or mental. Like, it's the most... There is a right answer to this question. And the answer is yes, the marriage should end if it's abusive. 100%. Whether it's the woman or the man being abused, it should straight up end. There's no enduring. This isn't one of those situations where it's like, there's greener pastures once you get through a couple of the black eyes and broken bones. You know, my husband may have beat the fuck out of me a couple nights ago, but he also took me to a really fancy steakhouse and I had an absolute bangin' filet. So, all of the abuse was worth it, and I'm a little happier today. It's ridiculous. This is honestly making me concerned. My heart is breaking for whatever woman he's in a relationship with. I'm imagining this guy treating relationships like it's Fight Club. If my partner can't roll with my knuckle sandwiches without crying about it and she wants to leave for it, well then good riddance to her toots. Jesus Christ, special snowflakes can't handle a few of my right hooks. Ridiculous. That's frightening. That is a frightening mentality. That you're telling someone to just endure physical or even mental abuse in a relationship and calling them like a special snowflake or a pussy if they don't. That's crazy. And also his cohort there, the goofball he's in cahoots with, who's like, man, divorce isn't real. Divorce is make-believe. It's hocus pocus. There's no such thing as divorce. Yes, if you're getting abused, you can't divorce, obviously. This is a wild episode.
And the reality is people just haven't learned to endure. There have been hard times in relationship. I'm sure you guys had hard times in relationship. Any relationship has hard times.
Okay.
And it is what it is. You need to push through and you need to endure because we're in this
abused?
hold on. Because we're in this situation now, like where everybody's just creating this like super nuanced, like 1% example of like, well, what if the kid's transgender, black, and abused, and he's a Black Lives Matter supporter? Like, cool, okay, I get like that one minute
No, but I'm asking
situation.
for anyone that might be in that situation, what would you recommend?
Okay,
Endure.
I'll tell
Would
you
they
what.
give up
I'll tell you what
divorce?
I would
I
do.
don't- that's-
I'll tell you what.
Endure.
I'll tell you what I would do.
A lot of diarrhea fell out of his mouth on this one here, so there's a lot to break down. He had an actual episode of psychosis there. He just started spitting shit that never even came up. It's a very simple question. It really wasn't nuanced. She just said, in an abusive relationship, should the marriage end? It really doesn't get more simple than that. A fucking child could understand the question. There wasn't anything about, like, all these nuance that you bring up. But anyway, Smash Mouth has his meltdown there for a second, but his message is still the same. No matter what, you gotta endure. You gotta endure the abuse. He even has the chutzpah to equate abuse to just a hard time in a relationship, as if it's just some little obstacle, little hiccup that every relationship goes through. Brother, abuse is not a hard time in a relationship. That is a fucking crime. That is when a relationship ends, should end.
I wouldn't want my daughter in that situation, quite frankly. And I understand the argument to endure because I have people close to me who grew up in abusive households, and it lasted for periods of time, and it was a phase, and they endured through it, and they ended up raising healthy, successful families.
Their faces really tell the whole story here. This reaction's pretty on par with that statement. Abuse is not a phase. It shouldn't be a phase. This isn't a normal thing. There's no reason to start normalizing abusive relationships as something every couple needs to go through or will go through. Abuse isn't acceptable. Full stop. Like, that's where... This was a really easy slam dunk for these dudes to answer. Should a marriage end when it gets abusive, whether for the woman or the man? And the answer is easy. It's yes. A relationship isn't something where there should be an abusive phase. If there is an abusive partner, that partner needs to seek legitimate help and get help for controlling whatever violent urges or impulses they have. But that doesn't mean that the other partner needs to stay in the relationship while they're getting that help. Especially not if there's children in the household, because not only is it dangerous for the partner, it's dangerous for the kid to be around as well. I think it's very simple. I don't think it's that nuanced. Abuse just isn't acceptable. Like, that's a super easy thing for a normal person to answer, but we've cultivated this culture online where everything needs to be like a debate, even on the simplest topics. Like, you just saw Smash Mouth have that meltdown, like, oh, you're getting into all this crazy 0.1% example nuance of abuse and then all of these other factors, like, out of nowhere, when that wasn't even what was discussed. It is the easiest black and white question.
To an extent.
So
they
you
weren't the
would say
healthiest
that
families.
to stick in those relationships that might be abusive to everyone involved and a child, if there's a
I'm
child
not
involved?
saying like,
who
hey,
is-
stick
that's
in
an
the relationship and get the shit beat out of
extreme-
you by
No,
a
no, no,
husband.
I'm saying
I'm not.
yours
I'm not.
is an
example.
I
extreme.
think you guys-
I'm just asking you what you believe.
I'm
on
just
this one
telling you-
specific thing.
I-
Even
I'm
though
not
it's a
telling
small
you-
extreme thing, I'm just asking you what you think if you should stick in that relationship or not.
It is such an extreme example that I can't give a prescription for what other people should do. There is an element.
God damn it, it's not even an extreme example. If you just Google it for like 15 seconds, there's so many different studies conducted on the topic, and according to a lot of the different numbers, all of which are a little different, but most of them agree that at least 20% of all marriages are abusive at some point in time. And that's just in reported cases. Like, it's not an extreme example. It's really not. But even if it was, it doesn't even change the question. Like, even in the extreme example here, it's still a very easy answer that, yes, that marriage should end. There is a problem. Now, this guy here is trying to play nice with everybody, so he's like, oh, yes, even this goober over here talking about endure. I mean, there's almost an element of something salvageable of his point, when there's not. Like, there's no excuse. Like, you shouldn't be enduring abuse, like, under any circumstance, but he's really trying to give an olive branch over there for some fucking reason. But This guy is at least admitting, like, he wouldn't want his daughter in that. So he does outright say, like, yes, a woman shouldn't be getting the shit beat out of her in a marriage or relationship, and she should leave. He at least will concede that, whereas the other two guys still, for some reason, fight tooth and nail that, nah, there's really no reason to be leaving.
Like that.
Do you have opinions about third trimester abortion?
It's
Yes.
terrible.
Listen,
It's
Okay,
terrible.
look at how quickly you can debate it. Do you know how
Terrible.
rare third trimester abortions are? They're also really
They
rare.
are.
But you immediately had a visceral reaction to that,
Yeah.
right? There are households where parents are abusive to children. Like, that's not like an unfathomable thing. But for you to have that immediate visceral reaction to a type of abortion that's so incredibly rare. But
Yeah,
then when
but
it's
I
like,
mean, we're
but you
talking
have-
about like a guy like getting drunk and like, beating
have to be
beating his
getting
wife
drunk.
occasionally versus like
I actually think that was a really good point from Destiny there. Like, you have a very quick reaction to another extreme example. Why do you not have that same energy when it comes to abusive households? And then the guy starts making some shit up like, we're talking about a guy getting drunk and maybe putting his hands on his wife. Where is that coming from? The question was so simple. They're making up like a whole fanfic plotline in their head about what was asked when it was really super simple. Abusive household. Should the marriage end? Like, I actually wonder if she had even just said something even more simple and broad, what the response would have been. If she had asked, do you guys think abuse is bad? I wonder what they would have said. I wager that they would have been like, okay, we need to define what abuse is because all of these special snowflakes have weird definitions for abuse. So let's start really getting into the nitty-gritty of what is abuse. Even though it's so easy, abuse is just bad. And an abusive relationship is bad. I don't know what's so hard about it. I don't know what's so hard about them just admitting that.
Could there
But
possibly
well,
be
okay,
a
so
difference?
Yeah.
let me ask you guys. In the Catholic Church, I know that there's like annulments for marriages and stuff. Are there
That
no
was a mistake.
Are there no exceptions for like if a guy is beating his wife constantly?
No, there are, but now
Or a woman could as well, right?
Hold on.
Well, there's
Yes,
also a
she could, but-
distinction drawn between.
If a woman's beating a dude,
legal
that
Hold
guy-
on, hold on, guys.
Oh man, blubbery ass Jonathan there just got saved big time by the guy in the middle. He wanted so badly to say that if a man's getting beat by his girl, then he's a pussy or he's like a weak bitch or something. He wanted so badly to try and get that kind of bravado out there. Sad to see that this mentality still exists somehow, that men can't be the victims of abuse. I thought we got rid of that stigma years ago. Jonathan's supposed to be a men's self-help guru. How? Actually, how?
Since divorces that are initiated by women, Brian,
78.
80%.
78.
80%.
80%. And what percentage of those women have college degrees?
Well, it jumps to 90% if they're college educated.
real.
Brian, please present the stats to the class. What percentage of divorces are initiated by women? 80%? Thank you, Poindexter, that's sickening. 90% if they're college educated? I rest my case. That's why I only marry 18-year-olds now. They're too young to have a college degree, thus they can't divorce me. What does this have to do with anything? Okay, so you don't want to marry college-educated women? You want to marry dumb women? Like, I don't know. What, you want to just marry a lobotomite sex doll? Cool, like, who cares? It doesn't matter. This has nothing to do with the core question anymore. It's gone fully off the rails and unhinged. They're so focused on picking apart divorce itself. So now they're spouting these stats and making each other mad. So one of the dudes is like, real. And then the other guy is taking a huge deep breath. Why, I oughta. Just hearing that number's making me mad enough to put hands on my spouse because she might have considered a divorce at some point. Like, it's ridiculous. This has nothing to do with what was asked.
They
Can
are
I ask-
extreme.
Well, I
I'll ask
agree- I
another-
agree with that,
I want to ask
but-
like one more scenario, okay?
Please.
What about if
I was giggling so fucking hard because you can hear, I'm pretty sure it's Jonathan go, oh, Jesus. When she says she wants to ask another scenario. Why are you even here? The whole point is to communicate with the women, your guests, right? To ask them stupid questions and shit. Like, if you're so bothered with them talking, what the fuck are you even doing there?
two people get married, they have a kid, and then the wife starts cheating? Do you think they should divorce?
Absolutely.
Crucifixion.
They should divorce then?
Jesus himself
You don't
said.
think
But it
should
wasn't
endorse
Jesus, hold on, hold on.
adultery?
Jesus
and you
himself
could like
said.
work things through, right?
Jesus himself said in cases of adultery, divorce is
So you think that
permissible.
divorce is worse than physical abuse?
No,
For the
cheating.
Or
children?
cheating, sorry. You think that
Cheating
cheating
is
is worse than physical abuse?
For the
Sorry.
children, yes.
I actually let out a full belly laugh. So she brings up cheating and unanimously like, yes, obviously you have to divorce when the woman's being a whore. If you've got a slut for a wife, you gotta fucking divorce that harlot, that harpy. Duh. Are you stupid, lady? Absolutely, you have to divorce there. After they spent like 6 minutes about, well, actually, divorce is one of the most evil things that can ever happen. Divorce is unacceptable. Physical abuse, okay, abuse, you have to endure because you can't divorce. But then when it's cheating, it's like, yeah, you gotta divorce. Jonathan even says crucifixion is warranted. I'm sure he's just being exaggeratory, but he does point blank say that cheating is worse than abuse for the kids, which is a wild take. Both are awful. Your father beating your mother or your mother beating your father in front of your kid is just as damaging as one of them being unfaithful. These are both horrible things, both of which should end in divorce. But for some reason, they seem to only have a real visceral response when it comes to cheating. And then the guy in the middle even gets immediately religious, like, well, in the Bible it says, when cheating's on the table, that's when divorce is absolutely necessary. Well, what the fuck? The Bible also doesn't preach for beating the fuck out of your spouse either. I'm sure you can also divorce in a case like that, so why didn't we get biblical when abuse was brought up? Why did we start trying to justify different levels of abuse and it might be a phase where it's going to get better after and this and that? Dude even wove a whole fanfic about like, we're talking about a man who gets drunk and maybe occasionally hits his wife. Like, what the fuck? Like, why are you making excuses for abuse and not for cheating all of a sudden, right? Like, and Melina even calls that out. She's like, oh, well, what about, like, working through it or, maybe the cheating's a phase? And like, no, absolutely not. Cheating is the end-all, be-all. This is just crazy. Like, I was absolutely howling with laughter when we got to this segment in the podcast.
Absolutely
I think I'm not going to say
Divorce-
this is worse.
divorce
I
is
mean,
worse
I
for the
already-
children.
I already
Is
said,
cheating
I
worse
already
than
said that
physical
if a
abuse?
woman's
Cheating,
getting
yeah.
abused, I think she should leave. Like, I mean, if it's a brief temporary thing, like,
What if it's mental abuse?
Okay, now
Do you
it's
think
less
it's-
cut
if
and
it's-
dry.
if
Oh
it's
my
You're
cheating
God.
and
setting
mental
your
abuse.
child up.
I think there's a small chance that Jonathan may have misunderstood the question. He may have thought he heard, is divorce worse than abuse? And that's what he was saying, that divorce is worse than abuse for the kids. Which is still a fucking stupid take, so I'm gonna tackle that one as well. What the fuck, man? You think that somehow kids witnessing their parents beating the shit out of each other is somehow less damaging than if they had just gotten divorced? You've got some issues you need to work through. My goodness. And then also that lady that's behind them is saying that it's less cut and dry when it comes to mental abuse. Why? Abuse is abuse. What are you talking about? So far up until this point in the episode, she hasn't said too much. She mainly just kind of agrees with everything the guys say. But she says it's less cut and dry when it comes to mental abuse, which leads me to believe that she thinks it should be cut and dry when it comes to divorce for physical abuse. But she didn't say anything. She didn't chime up and say like, hey, I agree, the marriage should end then. She just stayed silent because I guess she was just looking for things to fight them on as opposed to agree with, which I think is always such a weird component of these debates where if you agree with your opponent, you're apparently losing, or you lose points by doing so, which is so fucking backwards. And that's why I think debates in general are kind of worthless, because it's never about changing someone's mind. It's always about just cementing your own beliefs and never faltering and never changing perspective on anything. So nothing good ever really comes from it, except for just general entertainment as a spectator. And this one had me giggling. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's it. See ya. Here, I'll check this out when I fill up my water and take a piss. I love the quote on that. I'll smack you, tit boy. What does that mean? There's a lot of layers in that onion to peel apart. Let's see what this is. I don't know who Wes Watson is, but I'm very curious to see what he does to tit boy.
How do you define success? What does that mean for you?
Success is, being free, being able to do what I want to do every day when I wake up.
Wrong. Success is how much pussy you get. Duh, idiot. Where's Wes Watson? Set everyone straight here. Is this him?
No vices. That means no drugs, no alcohol, no bullshit. Don't have to hide behind nothing. I mean, what's rich? I mean, you get to do what the fuck you want.
Is this Wes Watson? Is this the right guy? Let me see. Or is this Tit Boy? Who's who here? Okay, that is Wes Watson. Didn't he just say no drugs? Brother, gear is a drug too, you know that, right? No drugs, except for the ones I do. No vices, except for the ones I do. This guy probably actually did have gynecomastia at some point. So he is literally Tit Boy.
Ash, dude. Pull your fucking shirt
Because
off
I've
and
been-
tell me you're fucking proud
Because
of yourself.
I've been to fucking...
Oh, well, I gotta rewind. I always love that. Pull your shirt off! Show me your body! and let me touch it a little bit. Because you're probably not proud of it.
Are you proud? If you look in the mirror, would you guys say this motherfucker's proud of who the fuck he is? That's a bag of trash, dude. Pull your fucking shirt
Because
off
I've been.
and tell me you're fucking proud of
Because
yourself.
I've been to fucking prison.
Jesus Christ,
Because
look
I've been
at
to
you,
prison?
bro. You got 10-inch arms and tits. Men don't have tits.
No,
you
they
guys.
go to prison where they get fucking.
Fuck yeah,
where
they
get
do.
raped up the ass.
You've never been to prison. Look,
That's
he's
what
talking about shit you
happens.
don't know.
They go to prison.
This is a
where they
crazy
get raped.
argument.
You get your ass
Hold on,
beat
hold
in
on,
front
hold
of
on.
You think that that's
everybody.
better? You think that that's
Okay,
better?
let's let him. Yeah.
Titties.
Anyway,
Who do you think would
That's
win?
where I was
In what?
Boobs.
yeah. Okay.
A fight? This guy would probably win. He's got that roid rage psychopath energy. This guy would get snapped in half, no doubt. But if we're talking about like a lactation contest, this guy he's harping on the titties of would not win. It would be this guy. This guy's got so much gear in his body, his tits probably lactate all the time by pure accident. This guy's probably got a pump in his fridge. So it just depends on what kind of fight they're having. If you want to be a true alpha male, not this embarrassing caricature of one, then you have to get yourself the new GamerSupps Waifu Cup of Me that just dropped. That's right, it's finally here. The Moist Waifu Cup has finally arrived. It's available right now at gamersupps.gg. I'll put a link to it in the description. It's guaranteed to be the best possible cup you've ever had in your life. Big thanks to GamerSupps for making this chalice here. I am honored to be represented as a big-tittied waifu. It's been long overdue, and I think it came out extraordinary.
But anyway, if you want,
Fuck yeah.
if you want to follow the successful mantra of a man who tells you he's reformed from prison, understand why they might have gone there to begin with. And
To take
yes,
care of a
I do think.
What did he go to prison for? To take care of his family? Isn't that the opposite? You were not there for your family if you were in prison. I went to prison because I was such a good dad. That's why I went. He went undercover. Oh, wow, he spent a decade in prison. Holy shit. I thought it was going to be like a, I don't know, like 6-month stint in prison. No, this guy went to jail for 10 years. What did he do? That must have been heinous. During his 10 years in a... And he actually uses this as a selling point for himself. During his 10 years in California prison, Wes began building an Instagram presence while behind bars. Well, what did he go to jail for? Then he talks about becoming a millionaire within 18 months after being released. Is that it? It was 10 years in prison for robbery, burglary, assault, and battery. Oh, what? Tough guy's got his Instagram account privated? What's going on with that? He's got 1.2 million followers, though. Why is his Instagram private, though? That's not ripped, rare, and rich. I'm sure all the followers are real people, too, and not bots. I have no doubt. No, it's definitely not a purchased account. If anyone's curious, though, for how he became a millionaire within 18 months of being released from prison, he did it because he exploited you. The desperate, gullible men that are purchasing his shit and saying that it's worthwhile. You think this guy somehow found the ways to make money in jail for 10 years for beating people and robbing them? Yeah, I'm sure he's got a fucking fountain of knowledge to bestow upon you. He just found the easiest way of making money in the modern age, which is telling desperate men that they're losers, and the only way they'll stop being a loser is if they give him money. That's it. That's the shocking secret to how he became a millionaire. Charlie, he invented docking and copyrighted it. True, actually, maybe that is what it is. He brought docking into the mainstream.
True wealth is having a wife, and true wealth, that is what I think it is. And that is what I think truly success is being able to go home and look your family in the face and know that you're doing everything you can to support them. That's
And
what
then
I
when you
think
go to the
success
beach
is.
with your family, they're like, there's my stud dad right there standing there.
Do you have
That's literally his whole life. Holy shit, that is so sad. His whole life is his body. Which is going to give out within the next 15 years from his overusage of gear. That's so sad. That is so fucking sad. This guy is 10x the insecurity of this man. Oof. That is actually all he can say. What an absolute fucking weenie. Yeah.
Stud right there with his shirt off.
Do you have children?
Look at that stud.
Do you have children?
I do have children.
How many?
I have 2.
You have 2. So, are you saying that your Bugatti and your money and everything
If
else
they
is
saw
worth
me
more
standing
than your
there, they'd be
children?
like, my dad's a superhero. Look what he brought to the table. Look how hard this guy works. He came from nothing to this.
Yeah.
He's, God, damn it!
You're still whining. Stop whining
That
and
is
just
a
make an
product.
argument.
I'll smack your fat ass.
So you're gonna.
Dude,
All right.
look
Let's
at
just.
your goddamn self.
Okay.
Oh man, this is much worse than I thought it would be for this guy. Yikes. Eek. Eek. I'm sure his children are so proud. My dad's a superstar. Look at him melt down on this fucking podcast about this guy. All because his body isn't as exploited with gear as my dad's. I'm so happy. My pop is the best. Oh, he only spent the first 10 years of my life in jail. What do you mean? He's a great dad.
This is not what men look like.
Let's let him
What do they
finish
look
his
like?
point.
Fucking shit.
What do they look like? Bald prisoners? Is that what they look like?
This is the problem in society. If people like this think they can talk to someone like me like that.
You started it, goofball. Oh my god, he's getting. This is why he privated his Instagram account now. I see. Oh my, he's getting destroyed.
That's what the show is supposed to be about. I like this shit. So personally,
So do I.
enjoy it.
Yeah, it looks like you enjoy
We can agree to
it. Private
disagree.
account.
Yeah, we can
We
have
can move on, but
can-
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, men don't have tits.
Thanks,
We can agree on
Resub Yan.
that. Physically,
Men usually have
he
hair.
has-
We
he
can
has-
agree on that too.
He has
Physically.
crossed over gender barriers.
Right.
That guy actually only has a single thought in his mind at any given time. My body versus that body. My body better. My body use all kind of HGH substances. Thus I win. And he can't process anything else.
Need some other little fucking lame douche over there.
Oh man.
I'll
Come
still
on,
answer
man.
the question. Is giving
Would-
someone an
would you-
expensive watch?
Would any of you guys really hang out with these guys?
This is not an
This guy is having... This guy... This guy's fucking awesome. What an effective clown. I've never heard of Wes Watson before. I need to look more into this. Master your mind and body. Meanwhile, this guy just throws a temper tantrum like a child who can only say one thing, like, your body's yucky. I went to jail for 10 years, so what? Would you hang out with these guys? Oh, this is cute. On his website, he had a little bit of hair. Oh, so here we go. He used to be a marijuana dealer. And it looks like he was sentenced to jail for what Chatter mentioned earlier with like the robbery, assault, burglary, whatever, all of that. But he used to be a dealer. So I'm guessing... I still haven't seen exactly what the case was. But I'm guessing it was something about like a deal gone bad, maybe? I don't really know. I thought so. Okay. So the... This is so crazy. I think this is right. So, the person he's currently dating is the woman who had that very viral plane meltdown and then got offered a porn deal. So, his current girlfriend is this lady, I'm pretty sure. At least according to the articles that I was coming up and reading about this lady.
I did nothing wrong. No, you shut the up. You shut the up and you're a bitch. You shut the... Film me. I'm Instagram famous, you bum. Shut the up.
It's crazy. That's a perfect match. That is a perfect match. Two insufferable people dating each other. You couldn't script that any better. Did she take the porn deal too? That would be the cherry on top of the Wes Watson shit cake. This is so interesting. Hold on, one more thing I want to look up that I saw pop up briefly when looking into Wes Watson. Just sorry. And then we'll get back to him screaming about whatever the fuck he's melting down about, shaking his fist at the clouds. Your body isn't as ripped as mine, clouds. You have no right here. Okay. So what I saw come up is that he also has a podcast, but that doesn't seem correct. It looks like he was a guest on a podcast, and it was called How to Date a Bad Bitch. And it's him talking about dating that plane lady that was melting down. Alright, sorry, I'll stop looking up shit on the side here for side quests. Let's see what else he has to say.
Jesus Christ.
They're skilled
Fuck
at
you.
some things.
Whoever
Hey,
fucking said
hang
that.
on. That bass
Kick
guy
you in
right
your
there just said,
fucking
hell
face,
yes,
little
shut up.
faggot.
That's fucking hilarious. You're awesome.
Different guys on the
this
panel.
is why most people don't invite me places.
Guys. Different guys
Yeah,
on
we
the panel
That's so sad.
Tell.
have different skills.
Yeah, that is so sad. Why would you say that? This is why I don't have any friends. Man, I don't have any friends. Look how quiet he gets after saying that, too.
to the table.
We could tell his tits are all jiggling. He's
God,
got
that's
a
actually
half
all he's
fucking
got.
Jelly donut
Hey,
or
bro,
what.
your toupee, it's still back there in the back. Go get it.
I shaved my head, you little faggot.
Are you
Shut
sure
the
they...
fuck
Oh,
are you sure you
boy.
shave your head, or-
Uh-oh.
Guys,
back
guys,
here.
guys.
I want to
guys,
see these guys women. Let's put
guys,
these
guys,
trolls back
guys,
here.
guys,
Women
guys,
are not
guys.
objects
Hey,
in our
hey,
world because
guys,
we're not
guys,
material.
guys.
Hey, Wes, I don't think you want to play that game, brother. Your woman went viral for being an insufferable asshole that everyone clowned on, and she got offered to do porn. Like, brother, you don't want to play that game. You really don't. This guy super sucks. He talks about how he used to be a huge drug-dealing kingpin who lived in big mansions, but the reality is he sold a little bit of weed and slept on his friend's couch. No, that's the propaganda that they're feeding you. He really was... No, dude, this guy, Wes Watson, he really did live in the biggest mansions, fuck the baddest bitches, sell the dopest weed. You got your facts mixed up.
We're gonna
make
move on.
You cry if you want.
We're gonna
faggot.
move on.
That's all
We're
you
gonna move
got.
on.
He's
We're gonna
still
move on.
going. He's so hurt.
We're gonna
No,
move on.
that's all you got is threats.
We're gonna
and
move
fruit
on,
drink.
guys. We're gonna
I'm
move
a great
on.
speaker.
We're gonna move on, guys. We're gonna move on.
Listen, Rich, better be proud of
No, it looks like they calmed him down is the wrong word. It looks like he ran out of words in his head. So then he blue screened in his brain. What an interesting guy. He's like if you tried to have someone do their best to be Dan Bilzerian, but without the actual money. Just taking like core personality traits and rolling them up into one guy who's battling his inner demons of insecurity. He's trying so fucking hard to put on the persona. He's more like a D-list Liver King. Liver King tries to be like wholesome. Like Liver King, he's just a scammer. This guy is both a scammer and an insufferable asshole who projects his insecurities onto every single living being with a pulse, it seems. And then privates his Instagram account when people tell him that he's a loser. That was interesting. That did lead to a new discovery here of the Wes Watson rabbit hole. I looked more into his arrest. He basically got arrested for beating up and robbing a low-level weed dealer at a random motel. Brother, that's not what happened. I don't know what kind of fucking woke news sources you're reading. Wes Watson, he marched out into Gotham by himself and took on Penguin's entire gang, upturned that bitch, and stole all their product, and eventually Commissioner Gordon had him thrown behind bars. That's what happened. And he did it for his family. That was pretty cool. That was pretty fucking awesome. What happens when you get three of the most uninteresting, out-of-their-prime frat dudes in a room? They make a podcast. And like all other alpha podcasts, they focus on shitting on women. But this time, the unique selling point of this alpha podcast is all three of them rolled a 0 in the charisma stat. Between the three of them, they can very rarely form a complete sentence. It's like a game of fucking Mad Libs because they can't help but keep interrupting each other. And the one time they brought on a female guest, I think she maybe got 3 words out before they kept like dogpiling on every single breath she took. It is an outstanding disaster of insecurity. It's also adorable how hard they all try to appear as like this peak sigma alpha masculine specimen. This is a podcast I'm sure none of you have heard of. I only found it because a YouTuber named Chad recently made a great video on it, and I knew I had to dive into it and watch more of their content. On TikTok, they're a bit of a laughingstock. They're just a fucking punching bag for most people to insult for good reason, obviously. So I wanted to watch more than just like their best moments montages where it's like, women cheat more than men, those bitches. Like I wanted to watch like the actual full context and full episodes. They have 3 right now. But it was so hard to watch them because every time they try and speak, it's like a kid who gets called on in middle school to stand up and read in front of the class and they're nervous. They just drone on and on, getting lost in their own sauce, forgetting what they were even talking about. They just keep fumbling over words and they just keep placing new filler words in there and it makes no fucking sense. It's like, I have no mouth and I must scream some dumb shit, but they just can't do it. Let me show you.
Yeah, plus like too, when you're in that bracket of fucking really financial, I'm not, but one day I will be, when I'm in that bracket of like being fucking rich as fuck.
Right.
I feel like, especially like, I don't know, like a lot of dudes get played for their fucking money.
It's like, yeah, a lot.
And they look like fucking fools. Because after a while too, money can only get you so far with getting pussy and shit.
Well, it depends.
At the end, and it's true, and like they'll be like, "Oh, fuck them, I'm tired of them." the fucking housewife.
That bitch was plotting.
He was plotting from the jump.
You know, and what's funny because I
But
was
that's
like,
her personal need.
yeah,
which
right.
I don't
That's what I'm saying.
understand.
So
Yeah,
like,
fuck that.
why are you gonna use my money that I fucking made to do something?
Yeah.
If you want money, you ask for it, and I'll gladly give it to you.
Yeah,
Because I don't want you sneaking money out
we're
the day.
financially fucking way better off than most.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, just don't like fucking. Yeah, I fucking agree.
But like,
This was from the timeless classic Women Cheat More Than Men, their biggest episode and a real hit. I couldn't watch the whole thing because this is the whole thing. Stretch this kind of conversation across an hour and 15 minutes. It's impossible to sit through. It literally sounds like someone skipping through dialogue options in like a Fallout game. It sounds like you're just listening to William Shakespeare in Old English and none of it's making sense.
I want to know what your boyfriend brings to the table, or what you expect him to bring to the table. Or even any man. Not like, we don't have to like focus on your guy. We just
Okay.
any what
Any
does a
man
guy have
should
to
be
do?
Respectful.
Okay.
So looks don't play a role in the first part.
Gotta go. Just let her go.
Yeah, let it go.
Relax, buddy.
Let it go.
This was a really big moment for the podcast. They really went out of their comfort zone and brought a girl into the boys' club in order to get deeper insight into females. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to really speak that much because the crew didn't really like when she'd talk. So like right away they just ask, you know, what do you want in a guy? And she says respectful. The fucking room goes silent and one dude's like, so looks don't matter then, huh? Like, you get so deeply offended off rip. All three of their minds were blown. She said respectful, and one guy just, his whole soul is crushed. Like, what about looks, huh? What about looks? Are you lying to me, you crazy fucking harpy, huh? You come onto my podcast, you old battle axe, and you're spreading fibs? No, respectful doesn't exist. Not even a real word, not a thing. Looks, that's all that matters. That's what I've read on the forums. Don't fucking lie to me again on my own show.
I say, if my wife lets herself go after I have kids with her, if I'm gonna tell her once, if you don't get your shit together, I still want to be sexually attracted to my wife, my spouse. But if you
Even
can't
girlfriends.
do that, girlfriend too. If you can't do that, I'm out.
All three of them are pretty dumb, but this guy right here is like the superstar imbecile. Every time he says something, it's the dumbest shit. He was the guy that immediately got offended when the girl mentioned the word respectful. It was like a fucking vampire getting hit with sunlight when he heard that. He just started like melting and like in pain. All he cares about is looks and pussy, from what I gather. That's his whole personality. And anything that challenges his belief that looks are the only thing that matter in the world, he takes great offense to. So this video they disabled comments on because they were getting clowned on ruthlessly. And, you know, very un-alpha-like to be a coward and disable your comments. They're keeping the video up, and apparently they had a response to it, which they took down because they also kept getting clowned on with that. Can't confirm because I can't find it. Yeah, his whole point is super goofy. So my wife has kids with me, and then she stops getting hotter, and I don't find her hot anymore, and that's her fault. I give her one chance. If she doesn't fix herself, I'm out. Aging is cringe. So when my wife hits 40, I'm leaving her ass, and I'm going back to dating 18 and 19-year-olds.
I mentally checked out of my last relationship for so long.
But I don't want to
Before
say
you broke up?
Yeah.
But another point. Goes the fucking show. Another point.
No, but
another
it doesn't
point.
say anything.
Hold
No,
up,
it's
hold
not
up.
like anything bad, but
No,
it's
no,
like
not
after
you. Hold
everything
up,
I've
I'm gonna
been
let you finish
through.
your point. And I'll let you finish your point. Guys at home watching, if you're fucking, once you'll know when your girl's mentally checked out, and when she's mentally checked out, she'll entertain any dude. I'm not saying you. There's always exceptions to the rule. I'm saying they'll entertain dudes. They'll fucking even cheat on. They don't give a fuck because once when their mind's gone, the vagina still could be there. But once when the mind's gone, the heart's gone, they are done. There's no coming back from that. So like, you know.
Oh my god. He's absolutely right! Oh! He just blew the case wide open. I fucking love that this dude immediately interrupts her for the millionth time just to make like an absolute nonsense point. The vagina might still be there, but the heart's gone. The soul went to hell, and now she's cheating on you there. Right? And the Avengers music, oh, it just sounds so good. It's like he's making the most profound speech of all time. Like, hey, shut the fuck up real quick, lady. I know I asked you this question, but now I'm talking. Cue the orchestra. Hey, cheating and pussy. What's up with that? I genuinely just can't wrap my head around this whole crew here. I don't even know what he's thinking is going on right now. He thinks he's being so deep and profound, and like this is somehow supposed to be inspirational, but it's not. It's not even close to anything at all.
No, I got this right here. Women preserve their value, men create it. Let me explain.
Exactly.
Guys care about a girl's past. A girl cares about a guy's future. Just like if your boyfriend.
I care about your past.
Hold up.
I have no doubt the three of them are pretty close to illiterate, but what that guy's saying right there is verbatim what all of the other YouTubers who are alpha males try and parrot. They all vomit that exact same line into each other's mouths, and just like Ouroboros, just keep eating each other's asses for all eternity. That whole men create value, women preserve it, guys care about a girl's past, girls only care about a guy's future. They treat each other like anime protagonists. It's literally r/I'm 14 and this is deep. This is literally sad Facebook statuses from 2010. It's very clear that this guy in particular was very deep into the whole pickup artist community or whatever, because this shit is the exact verbatim shit that they all said in their seminars. I've watched a lot of those on YouTube nights on stream because they're really fun to laugh at. And to a certain extent, I do feel bad for this guy because he got fed this so much that now he's adopted it as a truth, and the cycle just continues.
Hot topic.
Very hot.
Girls cheat more than guys.
Oh, fuck yeah. Girls cheat more than motherfucking
I was
dudes.
waiting to say
Period.
that, bro. I was waiting to say
Period.
that.
They're sneaky.
100%.
They're
It's my personal mentality because I'm better than everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not an NFL player. I haven't been to the moon. I'm still better than you.
You gotta. That's how you gotta become. You gotta think you're the best before you are the best. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody.
That's my personal mentality.
Yeah, he's not an NFL player. He's not a doctor. Hasn't been to the moon. Hasn't had a meaningful relationship. Hasn't been able to read an entire chapter from a Harry Potter book. But you know what? He has a podcast, so he is better than you, pussy. I feel like if I was an employee at the Best Buy they bought the Blue Yetis at, I would be overcome with guilt if I ever found this podcast and recognized them. I'd be like, fuck, I could have stopped this from happening. I could have been the hero if I just didn't sell them the Blue Yetis. It could have all been stopped before it even started.
Honestly, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but what's your take on fitness chicks? Valid. Like, as fuck.
They're
superior to all women.
Top of the line.
Agreed. Fitness
Top of
chicks
the line.
are superior to any woman.
They posted this themselves as one of their highlights. Like, this is one of their finest moments they were proud of. Just fucking imagine that mentality, that this conversation is like a moment you're like, yep, pretty proud of that one. I mean, to be fair, in their defense, they didn't fumble through sentences because there were no sentences here. It was just like individual words back and forth. Man calls it together like it's a goddamn city council meeting. Boys, gather around. Titties. What do we think? Do we like that? Valid. Milky. Top of the cream of the crop. Yes. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that if I actually did finish all three podcasts to completion, there would be a million more wild and wacky moments, but it's just so hard to sit through their podcasts, so I haven't done that yet. So these were just some of the highlights that I found. These are the ones that were posted on their own TikTok, and as well as just a couple of moments that I skimmed through their podcast. And yeah, I just wanted to share this because this is just another very silly alpha male podcast. That's about it. So yeah. The only thing more pathetic than a guy who calls himself an alpha male is a guy who calls himself an alpha male and then tries to sell advice to desperate, lonely men.
Hey guys, it's your boy Fresh Prince CEO. And today we're going to talk about all my W's. Stay tuned for it.
I love intros like these. You get some like wacky wubby dubstep kind of shit going on there with a dumb intro. It is so nostalgic. Takes me right back to 2011. Anyway, this is the Fresh and Fit podcast. The entire purpose of this show is to bring women on to insult and belittle them to their face, while also preaching that men should have the right to cheat on their significant other as many times as they want, whereas their significant other isn't even allowed to look at other men. They have to go in public with like fucking horse blinders on, and if they even so much as glance at a dude, you need to kick them to the streets immediately because they're a fucking disgusting, worthless whore. It's a lot of horrible, abhorrent shit that they talk about, and I'm sure you've heard of them or seen them before because I've had so many viral clips over the last year of them getting dunked on by the guests they bring on. I'm pretty sure the two of them have a humiliation fetish, which is the reason they keep this show running. But they're also kind of like the Voldemort of YouTube, at least they were for a little bit. They used to copyright claim and copyright strike anyone that would make fun of them or joke about them, saying that it was damaging their brand or making them look silly, even though they themselves are the clowns in their own circus. They're making themselves look fucking stupid. They never actually won any of their strikes or claims or anything like that. They all got overturned. But still just absolutely cowardly pussy behavior from people that claim to be alpha males. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about Fresh and Fit as a whole or the entire production of it. I want to focus on one video they posted in particular, one that I still think back on with a little wet spot in my trousers. It's one of the most delusional things I've ever seen from a YouTube channel. It's one of the hosts that is telling a story that is completely made up, just obviously fiction. He is literally making up fanfic on par with My Immortal, in a way that makes him look like he constantly fucks. Even though I'm pretty convinced that the shorter guy here is a virgin, yet he still makes these crazy claims and stories like the one I'm about to show you.
Alright guys, so you heard my L's, marrying a single mom, getting left out in the cold, basically in the car, never came downstairs. But today we're gonna talk about my W in terms of having 3 women in one day.
Let me stop you right there. I already don't believe you. It's super hard to think that anything they say is real when they constantly make stupid fucking claims like this one.
Not to mention they've both shown themselves to be frauds time and time again.
You know, we're both triple-digit notch count. He's in the quadruples.
There is no reality in the entirety of the fucking multiverse where this man has slept with one woman, let alone over 1,000 of them. Doctor Strange could peer into an endless multiverse and never find one where this guy slept with 1,000 women. They just say a whole bunch of made-up bullshit constantly.
But I met this guy at a pool party. He's an NBA player. I won't say his name for some reasons, but you know, he's a pretty top-tier guy, high-value guy, right? I'm at the bar ordering drinks for my friends, and he says, "Yo, bro, what's a good spot to go party at tonight?" I told him, "Look, bro, you can go downtown, you can go to Brickell, Wynwood, doesn't really matter, but I'm going to downtown because it's a really good spot." And then he's like, "Yo, bro, are you on Instagram?"
And then he added me on Instagram, we became best friends, he got me a tryout with his NBA team, which I absolutely crushed and became a starter on the squad, setting NBA world records. He invited me to Thanksgiving at his parents' house, I fucked his mom, and then the whole family clapped. That would be more believable than the story he's about to tell from here.
I was like, perfect, yeah, I am. So I gave him my Instagram, and lo and behold, he followed me, he said, "Wait, you know this chick?" So he pulls up this girl's profile, because you can see who's following someone that you just added from like the following list. I was like, "Yeah, I know her, bro. I used to like do her back in the day." He's like, "Damn, that's my shorty want to come in town." So basically, we were smashing the same chick.
No, you weren't. The only thing you've been smashing is your meat into your hand, you liar. This story's already got more plot holes in it than Kingdom Hearts. Why would an NBA player go up to a random guy at a pool party to ask for a party later? He's clearly already connected, he found out about the pool party, so why would he go up to a complete stranger at a bar to ask for further advice on partying, and then going a step further to add him on Instagram? That just doesn't make any sense. Unless Fresh and Fit dropped to the floor and sucked his dick raw at the bar in front of everyone, why would this NBA player care to add him on Instagram? NBA players, celebrities, they don't follow like anybody at all, except for like actual close friends or business partners or something like that. So why would he add a complete stranger who he only asked one question to, "Where should I party?" And past that, why would he then check who this new guy was following? Hey, pardon me, I couldn't help but notice that this girl that I'm piping is being followed by you. Are you that creepy stalker she has a restraining order against, or like what's the deal there? Are you guys friends? Oh, you guys used to fuck too? Alright, fist bump. We just became best friends, let's go.
So he's like, "Yo, dude, you know what? I'm having a mansion party like the next day. Come through, I got you." All this time, you know, we linked up the same night at the party spot I was going to. We connected, and funny enough, we dated the same girls, like a bunch of them. It was crazy, you know. Like we always say, me and Myron, a lot of these girls share the same high-value men, and they're around in the same circles, right?
You have the gall, the chutzpah, to sit here and insult not only the intelligence of your viewers, but insult God himself with the claim that you and the NBA player were having sex with the same women. Do you honestly expect anyone in the world to believe that? And then to have the audacity to make the claim that women go for the same high-value males, you are somehow putting yourself in the same ballpark as a fucking NBA player. You who runs one of the most laughed-at podcasts on the internet since the My Little Pony fan club radio show. You think that you are a same level of high-value male as an NBA player? Fucking mind-blowing.
I'm at his management party, right? There's like 40 girls and like 5 guys. In my head, I'm like, yo, real talk, this is crazy. Like, I've never been at a party where there's been this much girls compared to guys. So I'm like, yo, how's this gonna work? He says to me, yo, come through, bro. So he's like, yo, pick 3 that you want, and I got you. I was like, 3 that I want? This is like a buffet? Shoot, I'll take it.
Bro, this does not sound like an NBA player. This sounds like human trafficking. Pick any 3 girls and I got you. That should be like setting off alarm bells in your head, I would think. What might have happened is some guy came up to him and lied like, yeah, I'm in the NBA, I'm also ex-Special Forces, over 500 confirmed kills, and I fuck on the daily. In fact, hourly. In fact, I'm gonna be late for a threesome right now. But yeah, anyway, just going back to fresh and fit lore here. So our boy is now at a mansion with 45 topless babes, big asses, sodden, dripping vaginas, and every single one of them has his name shaved into their pubic hair, I bet.
So I was like, yo, I like her, and her. He goes, talks to them, calls them over, and I kid you not, I got a bedroom for you over here, do your thing. I'm like, what the heck? Is it that easy? So what happened was, like, I talked to them real quick, they were mad cool, and legit, guys, I could have a threesome with them, but I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I had no idea what was going on. I was like, yo, this is too much for me. But
far be it from me to question the math here, but it would have been a foursome, not a threesome. Unless, of course, the 3 girls fucked each other and then told you to just go far away from them, like hide in the bathroom or something, which I imagine would have happened. Also, he speaks fondly of this event, but I imagine this was one of the worst days of all 3 of those women's lives. Assuming, of course, the story is real, which it's not, I'm just suspending disbelief for a moment. Obviously, he is literally making this shit up as he goes along.
What happened was, I did my thing with one of them, came back outside, hopped in the shower real quick, talked to the other one, went back in the room later on. So basically, I had 3 girls in one night. It sounds crazy, guys, but there's a whole other world outside of the regular dating circle where guys of high value can actually like set up certain things that regular guys can't.
What an incredible story. I can't wait for the sequel. Fresh and fit in the goblet of fucking. I don't even understand the title of this video anymore. It's Pull Girls Easily, but it doesn't seem like there was anything easy about this. He met someone that claimed to be an NBA player that invited him to a mansion and then assigned 3 women to fuck him. Like, that's not exactly a lesson that can translate to most people. Of course, it's all made up and shit, but the takeaway here is basically nothing. It's a fucking nothing burger. It's this guy trying to make himself look cool and embarrassing himself.
So translate that into like my own lifestyle. Now from Instagram, I say, you know what? I can have 3 in one day. Why can't I do it myself? Learning from Deals on Demand that you guys are gonna learn if you bought the course. We're gonna re-release it soon, coming up maybe like next month. That whole setup there can be done for yourself through Instagram or dating apps.
How is me buying your course going to help me fuck 3 times in one day? Is the course just that NBA player's phone number for his mansion of sex? Like, there's just nothing you can really teach from this story you've told here. Nothing translates. There's no lesson. You picked 3 girls that a guy then instructed to have sex with you. And it never happened in the first place, and I hate that I keep suspending disbelief for even a fraction of a second to entertain the idea that this happened in reality, when we all know it didn't. But even still, what is the takeaway? There is nothing that happened in this whole video that could help some lonely guy at all.
You can take L's all your life, you can take W's, but the point here is that like, you can have whatever you want in this life. You made that choice. So for me, I was at a point where 3 a day was easily done through Instagram, and that's what I did.
But even in this fantasy, that's not what you did. You didn't set up 3 girls in one day through Instagram or anything like that. A guy did it for you. He fucking told them to have sex with you. You didn't talk to them through Instagram, you didn't get to know them or anything like that. Even in their own stories, they can't help but just treat women like objects. Like, yeah, he gave me 3 women to fuck. And that's why I'm the king of Instagram dating. Like, what are you talking about? It's so fucking wild. It's incredibly embarrassing. I don't know how they can post things like this and not feel any amount of shame. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about this one, and that's about it.